Hello, everybody. Um, I encourage you all to watch my video from last night where I talk about my feelings about contributing to Fishtown. Maybe I should have a more of a study on who has contributed the most in the past 8 years in terms of the tenants in Fishtown. Not that I'm counting or have needed to count, but if anyone wants to consider me as someone who has not contributed to Fishtown, I think your problem isn't with Fishtown, and it's probably with something else in your personal life. But what I want to mention here is the paper. Sometimes you have a routine where you do things on a daily basis. For instance, I was posting stuff about Fishtown for several years, almost on a daily basis. I'm in Norway now, by the way. And then other times, like your parents and stuff, they don't give you, when you're a kid, they don't give you candy every day. They wait for a while, and then you get this big explosion, this big celebration or this big exciting thing that you've been waiting for. So sometimes things come in waves, and if you're associated with Fishtown and you're a fisherman, you should know this. I mean, you really should know this, because when you're out in the waters, you can have big rolling waves, or you can have just constant little ripples, just where you can, pull the throttle back and just hop over the water, like you're skipping over the waves, like no problem. So I guess for the last 8 years we've been on full throttle, and I've been skipping over the waves with Fishtown, contributing daily almost with everything I was making for Fishtown. All the posts I was doing, donations, all the conversations I had with people that didn't want to run in the Fishtown 5K because they weren't runners. I don't care. I wasn't coming up to say hi to you to question you about your running or not running, but I understand what it's like when you don't want to do something, but you got to be a part of the association or the group, and you got to be a part of it, but you don't like to run. I'm like the most laid back, chilled out, non-pressure kind of person that there is. I just want to have fun. When you haven't had fun for so long, like fun with, I don't want to get hammered at the bar. Like that was the fun that we used to do back in when I was 25. That's not fun for me at all. I haven't done that in 12, 14 years. So I'm at a different level of fun now, and I haven't found it. So I'm looking for it still. So what I'm saying is I'm all, there's no pressure from me. I've been contributing for years for Fishtown. I can't really do anymore. I'll stop being able to produce tiles. I was contributing so much to Fishtown. So yet again, I'm going to hammer it home. I'm going to hammer it home again, because here we go again. I'm in Norway, and this article that was written about me, I'm translating it slowly, because if I translate it all at once, not only is it going to take me probably half a day to do it all, but probably half of you won't even read it all. So I'm going to break it down. And, I've done this enough now where I see the reaction on Facebook. So initially there's excitement, and then it wanes for a couple days, and then they see that I'm still with it, because see, most people peter out. They don't continue with it. They're looking for the explosion. They're looking for the I call it the explosion. It's the celebration. They're trying to create they're hoping to get everyone's attention constantly, and as soon as the attention wanes away from them, they give up. So what I've learned is that if you're consistent and you keep plugging away at it, people hang with you, and then you generate the real followers. Then when the people see that you really mean it, and there's the beginning and an end, and they have nothing to do with the end. It's all about you and how you feel about it, and you're the storyteller, and you're the one that's going to end the story when it's done, instead of ending it when you see people not listening anymore. That's when you get people's attention. That's what makes great musicians. That's what makes great writers. Directors. That's a skill that you must master. Is when the crowd wanes, because they're going to wane. It's like in South America, in Mexico, they have the siestas. They take naps in the middle of the afternoon. Naturally, there's going to be a time where people are going to get tired, or they're going to lose their attention, and you almost have to prepare that. And then you have to prepare for them to come back into it, and you have to be right there along with it. So all I can do is be consistent and have a plan, and that's what I'm going to do. So what I'm saying is if you weren't waiting long enough, you would have found something here. You would have noticed something that you never would have. Fishtown is mentioned in an international newspaper in Norway, I believe, the very first time. And if anyone can find any newspaper in the international, in the world, that has anything mentioned of Leland's Fishtown, please, by all means, I would like to see it, because that would be interesting. But let's up the ante a little bit more, because if it's from Great Britain or Canada, that's kind of cool. But guess where this is from? This is from Norway. You know how special that is? Norway is where a lot of the fishermen, the families, came from. And that's special that I've been able to pull this off, that I've been able to have an international newspaper talk about Fishtown and how it's one of the world's last fishing villages one of the last fishing villages in the United States, original. So for everyone out there that sees that I'm not in Fishtown and I'm not doing what I used to do, and if it's believed, even though no one even acknowledged it really before, and of course they bought my tiles, but my business grew because I worked hard and made new products, and we still have been, and still do, and still will. But I think it's very important for people to see that Fishtown is now mentioned at the international level because of me. And do I have to say it's also because of Fishtown every time I say it's because of me? That's another good question. So every time I talk about, sometimes I can go on YouTube right now and I can find a dozen actors that talk about their career. They're interviewed by magazines and by journalists and by newspapers all the time, and they ask them about their career, and they sit there and talk about themselves. So for any of you that think that this is kind of a selfish, stupid conversation that I'm having right now because I'm talking about myself, mind you, I'm a tile artist, and I can go back to the YouTube video from last night where I explained to you about how Carter Oosterhouse, he doesn't have to worry about people asking him whether or not he's moving to California, because he's already perceived as this movie star that just naturally does that. Whereas me, I'm a tile artist, and I saved for a long time to be able to make this happen. And you think for a second I'm not going to hammer this home after all the energy and effort I put, 10 times more energy and effort than Carter Oosterhouse. Sorry, Carter, I know you're very talented, but I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about how much energy and effort I put in, the art fairs, everything I've done. So when I talk about myself and I say how I've achieved these things, please don't get sensitive and think that Fishtown did it all. Please don't do that. And please don't need me to have to mention Fishtown every single time I try to defend myself, because when I'm talking about myself and when I'm being a leader for my team, I shouldn't have to cower to Fishtown every single time because of their sensitivity. Fishtown should be standing up for me. Fishtown should be wanting me to be an advocate for my business and myself and my hard work and my leadership. They should want success for me, because that's how I bring it to Fishtown. So this whole notion that I in some way am leaving Fishtown out, it's an absurd notion. Absolutely absurd. It's a jealous notion is what it is. It comes out of jealousy because you don't want to see what it is I've done or give me credit for it. You're unable to do that. And I recognize that in a second because I know how hard I've worked. And for you to somehow be able to leverage all that hard work I did out of me to ever give up on this, you'll never do it because I have 15 years of hard work into this. You're going to need about what's the population of Traverse City and Leland? You're going to need about 50,000 people to leverage it out of me. If you think for a second I'm going to back down when it comes to what I've done for Fishtown, what I will continue to do for Fishtown. It might not be the daily ripples, like if you're in your speedboat shooting across the water when it's just little teeny ripples, you know. My contributions maybe before were more daily ripples. See, now if you're a fisherman, my contribution is going to be, you know what it's like when there's big swells? You go up the big swell and down, and you can't hit full throttle and hop over them. So now what's going to happen, probably because I'm farther away, you're going to get these giant waves that come in. Like, for instance, this. The very first time Fishtown has been mentioned in an international magazine. It should be front page on the Fishtown newsletter, is what it should be. But I understand politics, and I completely understand. But, so what I'm saying is obviously my heart is in the right place. I'm here right now in a great deal because of fishing. I'm here in Norway for a great deal of the reason why I'm here is because of fishing. Do I need to, I will sit down and we can have fireside chats like Roosevelt every Sunday night if it takes that. If I need to hammer it home continuously because you just don't want to let it sink in because, you know, I'm an individual doing this on my own, I'm not seeking credit for this. So, you know, I left out Fishtown in a YouTube video once yesterday. And somebody capitalized on that and tried to make it out how I was leaving Fishtown out. Well, he won't do that again. I can tell you that right now. So, I am the biggest advocate there is for Fishtown. The hours I've spent with my little tools, carving designs, painting designs, paying employees, dealing with grief from employees, painting the designs for Fishtown. I didn't complain to anyone about it. I kept doing it. In fact, I had artists painting Fishtown tiles that aren't quite out yet. We had some tragedies this winter at Sporck Tile Art, but we're strong as ever. And I'm in Norway now, working on a building as a testament to that. So I had to have this talk again this morning because, you know, another thing that's good about me is that I plan some things out, but other times I'm making it up as I go. Not making it up, but things happen as I go that writes the story for itself. So I haven't translated this whole article yet completely. So every day I'm translating little portions of this article.